Why, hello here. This is Bella Vasta with Jump Consulting, and I am excited today to bring to you Erica Gomez. Erica is a pretty dynamic gal here. She actually started Whoa Doggy with her husband about 4.5 years ago in Atlanta, right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, and so they quickly they were working in it by themselves and working to the bone and got employees and now are achieving a really great work-life balance, which you all know I preach, and it's fantastic. Erica also helps women kind of balance their life, um, and Erica, you can probably explain a little bit more when I hand it over to you, but Erica also helps people expand their businesses from home while achieving that balance.
Mhm.
Now, in our private coaching group, Gary posted, her husband, about 2 months ago about their first 2-star Yelp review. And we all have these bad reviews that come online, and it's not really a matter of that you're necessarily a bad company. I really believe that everybody at some point is going to encounter this. You could be the most perfect company ever, but there's always that one person out there that just wants to rain in your parade. Sometimes they don't even have to be an actual client, and they still review you as horrible because maybe you told them you weren't a good fit. So regardless, this is a very, very important topic, and I want you to listen to it. So you don't necessarily have to watch our mugs. You can listen to it in the background. Go ahead and click around on Facebook or, edit that photo, whatever you got to do, but really listen to us, guys, all right? So Erica, I want you to start this whole thing and kind of tell me what happened.
Yeah, sure. First, I have to apologize. I'm just getting over a cold, so if I have the sniffles or cough once in a while, sorry about that.
You sound great.
Thanks. So what happened was we received a negative review from a client who was unhappy with our key policy. He didn't understand the key policy. He didn't understand the meaning behind it. And he also was very unhappy with the fact that we wouldn't make an exception to our key policy for him. So our key policy, in short, states that we require 2 sets of keys from every client. Typically, our new clients give us those keys at our meet and greet, but with this client, our meet and greet happened on the very same day that he called us for the first time. He had a very urgent need. He needed us to get started with his dog the very next day. So we kind of expedited the whole onboarding process. And we agreed to get started with him that very next day using his key that he had hidden in a little lockbox, with the understanding that he would have 2 sets of keys made for us and ready for that very next day.
Sure.
That very next day came, the keys weren't there. Not really a huge deal. He was really busy. A couple days go by, again, really, really busy, couldn't really get to it. One time he mentioned that he had the keys made, but they didn't work. So we continued our service because we really thought he was working hard to get those keys made. We understood he was busy, and we were trying to be flexible and accommodating. As time went on, we stopped hearing from him altogether. He stopped responding to our emails and our calls, and that made us really uncomfortable. So we made the decision to end our professional relationship with him. We sent him an email letting him know that we would have to discontinue service, and almost instantly after sending that email, we received our very first negative review.
Oh boy. That's hard because you're just trying to stand up for yourself, and also, be comfortable. It is, at the end of the day, I think we've got to remember that is, as much as customer service oriented we want to be, at the end of the day, it is our business and it is our choice who we want to work with. And we always have a choice. And I think sometimes people forget it. So I think that was a really great professional decision that both your husband and you made, and said, this isn't kind of working out for us. Let's cut ties.
And that's always tough.
So then what happened?
So basically we read the review. We, had some anxiety over it. We thought, what are we going to do? But we knew that we had to just get over it and move on and start focusing on creating our response. That's exactly what we did. And then see what we can do after that. And I think I can probably talk a little bit more about that, the details of that as we go on, I guess.
For sure. And just to get back really quick to what I kind of fumbled on, tell us how you also help businesses.
Oh, sure. So I have a small business coaching / consulting company where I work with women business owners who really are kicking butt in their businesses. Not necessarily pet sitting specific, but they have all kinds of businesses. And really what's important to them is being able to be successful in their business while still having the other things that are important to them, their family, their lives, being intentional about those things. That's so very important to me. I know that's really important to you too. So I really want to help people do that.
I think that's fantastic, and I love that focus of it. You first told me about it when you had started a little while ago, and it's brilliant because there's so many people out there that, you know, as women, we are the multitaskers. We wear all the hats, and I'm not talking about just our business. I'm talking about the business hats and the personal hats and our mommy hats. Like,
yes.
I mean, that balance is quite difficult sometimes.
Yes, and it's as a new mom, you know, it can be shocking. Because suddenly now you're a mom too, and it's such a huge thing.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's fantastic. I really, really love that and appreciate it. And I think that if anyone's listening to this and it kind of speaks to them, reach out to Erica here. So Erica, back to this story. Tell us, what is the first thing that someone should do when they receive that negative review?
Okay, so when you receive your review, if you're anything like us, you're probably gonna have some anxiety over it. Oh my gosh, it hurts, right? Because we're pouring our souls into our businesses. But I think it's so important to remember to stay calm. I can't think of one successful business that had one review take them down. You know, successful businesses have things happen all the time. They have criticism, they have negative reviews, and the way that they respond to it is how they're able to move forward, and sometimes even better than they were before. So remain calm, know that we are all in this together and we've all gone through this just like you.
Exactly. I mean, you're right on target. It's so true. Everyone's had their share of stuff, and one review isn't going to kill your business. So what are some other things to consider when you're responding to the review? What should you think about? What's important to say?
So I think that there are three really important things to consider when you're thinking about your response to the review. So the first thing is, what might you be able to take away from that review? Is there some valuable feedback that you can use to make your business even better? Really try to take the emotion out of it and listen to what the reviewer is saying, and almost use that as free advice. You know, this might be something that you hadn't thought about before, and your customers are the ideal people to tell you exactly how your business should be, right? So see what you can get out of that and try to be genuine about that. The next thing that I think is really important is to consider who is reading the response and the review. So of course, the person who wrote the review is going to get your response and they're going to read it. But the majority of people that are coming across this are potential clients. So it makes it even more important how you write that response and how you're coming across in that response, which brings me to the next important thing to consider, your tone in your response. You want to be sure not to come across defensive or like you're on a counterattack. I've seen businesses kind of counterattack their reviewer. And I can assure you the business owner never comes out on top in those situations. So, and because we take it so personally, I think it's really easy to come across as defensive or over-explanatory. So one of the things that I suggest doing to stay professional and accountable in your tone is to have someone, or preferably a group of people, read your response as a draft before you post it, and they'll give you their honest opinion, how you're coming across. I would highly encourage you to post it in Bella's Facebook group. We've all been there. We all know what we're talking about, and everybody's pretty honest in that group. So definitely have some other people look at it.
For sure. And I think the most important thing that I just got from what you said is that you're not necessarily only responding to that owner. They're like one of hundreds of potential readers. So it's more like you're responding publicly to the public about what this person kind of said. And I think that's really important, because I think when you redirect who your actual audience is, it's going to help change your tone and your outlook on it.
You're right. And another thing, when you are thinking about communicating with potential clients, you're really giving them a glimpse at what it could be like to work with you, what it could be like to communicate with you, and not only when things are running smoothly. So that's really important to let them know what it's like. You're able to keep your cool, you're professional, and you're accountable.
Exactly, exactly. Because people wonder, like, oh no, I just had this example and I need to put this in there. I had web hosting company A, and they were terrible. My website was hacked this weekend and I was on hold forever. They tried to fix it for 45 minutes and then their solution was pay us more money and we'll fix it for you. And then it took like 3 days for them to get back to me. I chatted online and they literally said, you are one of a few we're talking to, please be patient. Then I went to another company and all of a sudden I was just like, I was waiting for them to tell me what they couldn't do for me. And all they were doing was tell me what they could do for me. And they fixed my problem and it was timely and it was incredible. And I just was like, I love you guys. Like, so every time I called them, because I called them about 4 times in a day, I was excited to call them. And it wasn't one of those, oh God, I'm going to be on hold forever and I'm going to have to fight. And knowing that when I had a problem, they had my back, made me feel like you could double my fee that I'm paying you right now and I'll pay it because I'm getting that comfort. So that kind of brings me to my next question for you, Erica. What is the time frame? Like, how important is the time frame in responding? Should it be immediately after? Should it be a couple of days? Should it be a month? Are there ones that maybe you don't even need to respond to? Explain that to us.
That's a really good question. As far as the timeliness is concerned, I wouldn't respond immediately because then you're probably not having someone look at your draft, and that's so important. You definitely want to do that. I think if you Google it, you'll probably see the rule of thumb is within a day. You may need a little bit more time. I would say try not to go over 2 days with that. Our situation was a little bit unique, and this is a really good point that I want to make sure that I bring up to you guys before you get your negative review that you need to respond to publicly. Make sure you go on all of those review sites that you're aware of and make sure that all of your profiles are complete. We had a Yelp profile, but we were unaware, since we never had a negative review before, that in order to respond to one, you also needed a profile picture, and apparently we didn't have that. So we were all ready to send our response, and we wanted to be very timely about it, but we found out we had to create a profile pic. No problem, we did that. But Yelp has to approve those pictures, and guess what? That could take up to 5 days.
Oh boy, but a review can be up in like 2 seconds.
Exactly, of course, right, sitting there, harming business. So that provided us a lot of stress, and our response was delayed because of that. So I hope, do you have a baby crying back there?
No.
Okay, I thought I heard
something. My dog was crying a little bit ago because our landscaper just back there.
I'm always hearing, baby crying. Okay.
I think that might be in your house.
Yeah, I know. So that delayed our response unnecessarily. So hopefully I can save you a little bit of time. But in general, I would say 1 to 2 days tops. Now, in terms of not responding to a negative review, I would respond to all legitimate negative reviews. If there's one that's not legitimate, like you mentioned earlier, we've had a few people in the Facebook group that have received bogus negative reviews from God knows who. Those I probably would not respond to, and I would get to work on getting that removed.
For sure. That's great information. So now the thing that Gary, your husband and partner, had showed us was his blog response to it. And it was genius. And while you're talking, I'm actually going to screen share, and it'll only show if I kind of like interrupt you and show you the screen. But while you're talking, I'm going to pull it up and screen share, and then when I'll show it. But it was just brilliant how you guys responded and also told the world. You're like, hey guys, we got a negative review and this is why. And it was unconventional, but it worked in so many ways. So tell me about how you guys did that, why you decided to do it. Tell me more about that.
Sure. So we were lucky in the fact that our review happened to be based around a policy that we really believe in. We created this policy so that our clients could have peace of mind in knowing that we're doing everything we can and keeping their home and their pets safe and secure. We're treating their keys like gold. That's something that we take really, really seriously. So after we got over the initial shock of having a negative review, we realized that this could be an opportunity for us to educate people, anyone who might be looking for a pet sitter in our area, on this very policy. And we also kind of believe that this is a policy that sets us apart from some of our competitors. So we thought, let's not hide this. Let's not be ashamed of this. Let's go ahead and use this a little bit. Nothing gets attention better than a public review, right? So we crafted this blog post, and again, we took a lot of time here. We wanted to make sure that we weren't coming across defensive, that we weren't counterattacking, and that we weren't just simply trying to clear our name. That really was not what it was about for us. We truly wanted to get the word out about this policy that we believe in so much. So we spent a lot of time drafting this blog and reading it and rereading it, and we kind of had a little bit of fun with it. We had some fun taking the pictures for it, and then we posted it, we shared it as much as we could on social media. It got a lot of attention. And in fact, the best thing happened out of us doing this. And this was a leap of faith, by the way. We were nervous when we decided to do this because we thought, oh my gosh, are we crazy? We're drawing attention to a negative review. What ended up happening was many of our current clients went ahead and wrote positive reviews for us in response to this. What also has happened, which is what I think is the best possible thing, is every single new client that has come our way since this whole negative review debacle, they have mentioned the Yelp review and our blog post. And then they have followed it up with saying, and I have even more peace of mind in knowing how seriously you take this. So for us, we realized this negative review wasn't the end of us. In fact, if our reviewer called us and said, okay, I'm going to take the review down, we'd say, no, please leave it up. Because potential clients, all of our new clients.
Classic example of making lemons out of lemonade. And this is your awesome website. I love it. It's so unique,
Thanks.
And our first 2-star review and why you should care. And I hear Gary just got out a piece of chalk and and made these pictures.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys wrote about the whole thing. You wrote about your hide key under this rock, not this brick. Like, it's hilarious.
Right.
I mean, like you were saying, everybody sees it, and you have Yelp right here on the side of your website, So I think it's so courageous and just amazing how you guys took something negative and made it a positive. And you made it a positive because of your professionalism, but also your compassion to the situation. And I think a lot of people can really learn from that.
And just because it's scary, it really was scary for us putting this out there. We didn't know what to expect from putting this out there. But just because it's scary doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. If you really believe in this, or something that you're talking about, or something that you want to get a message out, you should do it.
Right. So tell me, I'm not a good writer. I can hear people saying right now, I'm not really sure what to write. How do I formulate something like that, Erica?
Oh, such a good question, because it is hard, right? We want to talk a lot about all these positive things, and that's really easy to respond to. But major companies have little short, cute ways of training their employees on how to deal with unhappy customers. I found a really good one in the book, The Power of Habit. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. It's a great read. But they talk about Starbucks and the method that they use to train their employees on. And it's called the latte method. And I wish I had one that was pet sitting specific. Maybe we can come up with one in the Facebook group. But basically, latte is an acronym. So every letter has something that it stands for. The L stands for listen. You want to listen to your client and make sure that they're heard, that their complaint is heard. Acknowledge. You're acknowledging what they're saying. Maybe that comes in the form of repeating their concern or their complaint. And I also want to add here, apologize. I think a genuine apology really goes a long way, especially if they've been inconvenienced or if they just haven't had a stellar experience with you. That's worth apologizing for. The first T stands for thank. You want to thank them for taking the time to write this review and to, maybe look into your policies a little bit more, or whatever it was that they were writing about. The second T, and this is a really important one, this stands for take action by creating a solution. So this is where you're letting that client or the reviewer know, I don't take this lightly. And to make sure that this never happens again, I'm implementing this policy, or I'm adding this to my training, or I'm creating a new part of my communication plan. For us, what we did was we realized, again, we took the feedback from the review and we realized, although we thought we were being very thorough and detailed in all of our initial communication with our clients, including during the meet and greet, we thought we were being very, very thorough about the key policy. If even one person walks away not understanding the reasoning behind it, we're not doing our jobs. So what we agreed to do, and we've been doing it ever since, is we've been adding much more detail to our key policy communication when we're onboarding new clients. And that brings me to another important point. When you say you're going to implement a solution, you've got to follow through and you have to implement it. So that's—
Wait a minute. You mean your word's your bond and you have to do what you say?
Yes, you actually can't lie when you're saying something like that. Yes, you must do it.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I think that's a really valuable point because so many people either don't or they procrastinate. And what I'm also hearing is that I'm hearing you talk about expectations. You're being really clear with that client on what they can expect from your company, and not only do as I say because I said so, but the why behind it. And through that why, you're showing them that compassion. And I think it's genius. And I love that you went through that whole latte thing. When I first started my pet sitting company, I actually worked at Starbucks. And I did it because they gave health insurance, and I didn't know I could get it on my own. And I worked godforsaken hours, like 4 a.m. to 9 a.m. Like, it was horrible. But yeah, Starbucks has an amazing training program, and I can definitely attest to that firsthand. Erica, I'm wondering, and I'm sure a lot of other people listening are wondering, what's your background? How did you become this amazing person you are?
Oh my gosh. Geez, what a question.
Yes, that wasn't on our question list. No, who are you in your former life?
So I started off in retail management. I learned a lot of lessons there. How to manage people, how to manage business, make decisions, and, you know, have a lot of fun. I happen to come from the cosmetics background, so I really, really enjoyed that. And from there, I went to grad school and I pursued a degree in business. I got an international MBA where I learned a lot about business. Believe it or not, I never had interest in being an entrepreneur. You wouldn't believe it, because now I'm so passionate about being an entrepreneur and a business owner. But after grad school, I came back and I pursued a career in marketing, and I kind of got on the path to that. And I was laid off unexpectedly. And coincidentally, I already had this light bulb idea one day while I was at work that I should start this pet sitting, in-home pet sitting company, because I have always been just a diehard animal lover, and I always wanted to work with animals, and I got this idea, oh my gosh, I should do this. So when I was laid off, basically I just had to pull the trigger on that, and almost without even thinking about it, you know, because I might have been too scared to do it had I thought about it too much, I did it. And here came Whoa Doggy. And Gary joined me really shortly afterward. He was able to quit his corporate job as well, and the business grew very, very quickly. And talk about lessons learned. You know, you learn so much when your business is growing, and when it's not growing, you just learn.
It's a direct reflection of yourself. I mean, I always say, like, a ship can only sail as good as the captain running it. And the captain can't be down mopping the deck, because you're going to hit an iceberg. And the captain needs to have a compass and know where the destination is and know what the weather is like, what's coming in, and what's, you know, I mean, you really have to. And your business forces you. I grew so much when I first started my company, because you have to know who you are and what you want in order to have a successful business. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So you're a very dynamic person. How can people get a hold of you if they want to blow you up after this?
Well, I guess the best way to reach me is erica@whoadoggy.com. You know, let's keep it through the pet sitting world.
And spell Whoa Doggy for everyone listening.
It's WHOADOGGY.com.
Perfect. And it's Erica, ERICA?
EA.
Okay. Awesome. Erica, is there anything else you want to add?
Actually, yes. When we're talking about writing these reviews and we're talking about the latte method and everything, don't just keep that to when you receive a negative review where you're posting something publicly. It's a really great idea to practice strengthening that muscle when you get an email privately from somebody who has a concern or something that they wanted to let you know that didn't go to their expectations. It's a really professional way to respond and a really great way to practice so that you're not devastated if you have to write this response publicly someday.
Right. That's great.
Well, thanks for having me, Bella. This was great.
Yeah, thank you. We should do this again and again. You are a wealth of information, and I love the way that you approach things and your look on things. So thanks, Erica, and it'll be up for everyone to watch soon.
Great.
Bye.